as far as the eye can see, and in every cove, there are just hundreds. You're all getting ready to go. For the night. The whole coast, wherever possible, is loaded with little boats. Bagus means good, great, good job. Very proud of these boats. They make them themselves.
Sunrise action. This is 2 days out of Bali. We decided to just go to another island, a small island, another off of Java. I've been seeing the insignia and seaport there. There's a little sunrise here. Not the best, but it's okay. Good morning fishing action. Same morning, I don't know if I said sunset or sunrise, but it's really the sunrise. I don't know what this guy's doing. I see a flag on a pole back a little bit. Maybe it's a net. Back to the sunrise over there. Not too great, but we should get to Bawean Island by about 11.
I don't even remember the name of this island, but we're still in Indonesia.
We don't know where we are. We're in the Langkawi Island.
I didn't write it down.
But the natives build all kinds of fish trap areas and places that they can sit and jig for fish, dry fish.
Selamat pagi. Can I take a picture?
Lights going on already.
Well, here we got the other.
Okay.
I thought with it sitting, and this one may too. They've both been sitting. Look at the sun.
There's a man out there.
Now this must be the salt house, I bet. No, I hear them.
Oh yeah?
Either ice or salt in here.
Yeah, probably. I wonder how they keep that ice.
Sounds like ours.
No, it's or yeah, but it's salt. It's salt in the fish.
Yeah.
We saw it when we passed through the first place. They were shoveling ice out of a big box that was in one of the boats. I mean, salt ice.
So it had been brought
from somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere on the...
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Now, salt ice, once it gets frozen, it doesn't last.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll hold the. Takes more to get it down, and
Yeah.
it absorbs more calories to melt. Well, I know the sandblas were only one deep on the waterfront. These really wander around.
Yeah, all these are the same boats. And on this side, Jim?
No,
Am I ever in the way?
never. I can't ever think of a time.
I hear this could give us the 9. This could be the first.
This might be the...
Oh yeah.
Bin... No.
I don't know.
I got my nose stuck on this. It went around, goes around. Look, and there are more plants. Isn't that neat that they would have plants? Wow, look at this place. Look at why that is. Must be a... Sunken board.
All right.
A lot of fish steaks, huh?
Yeah, or maybe there's a net inside there. Maybe that's a...
Well, maybe that's a trap. Yeah, I'll bet it is. The weather's got to be pretty easy around here. You know?
God, look at these. It's not a synagogue. I mean, not a synagogue. It's not a mosque.
Almost.
I thought this was all Muslim here.
Yeah, I thought it
Somewhere else that
These are all the outhouses, these little boxes.
was. Isn't that a cute little dory here, this little thing?
Beautifully made. All of them.
Selamat pagi. Now she hadn't really come on to my future. She had that
Pagi.
Selamat pagi. Getting brighter and brighter.
Yeah, we may have a nice day after all. I feel a bit of a breeze. We may sail.
Picture I take. James, yeah.
Side peaceful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 mountains.
It's very, very much like the sandbox.
But there are more motors in the boats.
Yeah.
than the sandbox now. They have, some of them have outboards, but
I don't see many of those air-cooled diesels here.
there's one more there. I wonder what these logs floating are. Maybe they floated these in?
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? It's hardwood. Certainly not bamboo. Did you? on our way to Batam, and just thought I'd take a shot at some of these fish traps. The natives lower those nets into the water at night, shine bright lights down, and then when the fish congregate under the light, they lift them up. They spend all night here. They sometimes stretch nets between those stakes at night again with lights and a bunch of boats, and then pull the nets in. That's caviar, Australian couple, Rob and Susan. We've been traveling with them. And as a matter of fact, we've had quite an evening because we've been sailing with caviar and a boat called Sequel. Sydney and Sandy from Nohant, Connecticut, on their way around the world. They're behind us. The three of us met up again with Enigma, Aradana, and Flying Free. We went different routes from Bali. It's another fish trap, and we'll probably get a little closer to that, so I'll get a better shot of it. Now, we're on our way to Batam, which is just across the way from Singapore. No wind yet. I hope we get some later. We won't make it to Singapore for 3 days, but we've gone about 1,100 miles from Bali. I was anticipating some problems on this leg of the trip, and we have had none. A lot of rumors about piracy and problems, and as far as we're concerned, they're all false. A little better shot at one of these fish traps. As we get closer, maybe you can see it. But on opposite sides of that net, which is a kind of strung out on a rectangle inside all those posts, there's a long wooden post, and it's a mechanical windlass. And they crank that thing up several times during the night. After they've accumulated enough fish, scoop them out with another net on a pole, and then drop it back in. They attract the fish with lights and spend the nights out here. Another shot of caviar. As I think I mentioned a while back, we're on our way to Batam. We'll go up a path between Bintan and Batam. Batam is a free port, good jump-off spot for Singapore. We're only about 70, 80 miles from Singapore right now. We have a traveling buddy, a bat. He's been with us a few hours. You can tell how exciting things get sometimes. We've had a bunch of swallows that were unusually tame, in and out of the cabin, not just the cockpit. One spent the night under the Dodger with us. Couldn't get them to eat. And they just seem to have no fear. This is a little like watching grass grow. I don't know why this bat, I guess maybe just hit the sail and just kind of hanging along and here for the ride. Well, he's not doing much moving, but he is alive, and he looked healthy, hanging on one thread. We won't furl the sail while he's there. A little tough to take this picture while we're sailing. Okay, Mr. Bat, we'll say goodbye for a while. Now, at Batam, in a new marina and resort facility, it's a culture shock, called Nongsa Point. And got here 2 days ago. I'm halfway up the mast. It's a little hard to take this picture with one hand. But President Suharto and also the President of the Philippines are on their way. They must have 100 security officers here. This is the nicest facility we've been in since the States. I get a shot from land, but we're not allowed ashore. So I'll take that later. We've dressed ship. So have a few other boats. We've gotten a bunch of boats in here.
Last time we dressed ship, you understand, Jim, it was blowing 20 knots.
Yeah, that's always a risk, but it seems pretty safe around Singapore so far. Well, that's the mighty sea shanty dressed, and that's the admiral on the dock behind that piling. Hiding. Hoiding. And the crowd's getting ready for all the presidents and officials.
I'm so mad. I ordered a new flag. It was hard to show me where. A 36 by 48 flag, which was the right size for this boat. And they sent me a 36 by 30.
Oh. Yeah, I think those flags are unconscionable. And you might want to just take them down.
You can do it with the color flag, all by themselves. Yeah. You don't have to string out every flag and drag it down.
But we're the only guests in this facility. We pulled in. I've yet to see another guest, either here for dinner or taking a swim or even strolling around. The place is just opening, owned by a Philippine bank. And I guess they'll have a number of officials here today. We've been relegated to the dock, not allowed to use the facilities. There isn't room anyway. There's so many security guards. But they're not charging us for the night, and they didn't charge us for the first night. Well, this is one of several grand opening ceremonies for this facility, and I must say the facility is magnificent. We were on this dock, but for security reasons, there were 3 of us or 4 of us on that dock, and they moved us all to another dock, which is here. Might as well pan the whole thing. We've been traveling with caviar, as I may have mentioned, and the proud bow of flying free. And that's Robert of Annika, and of course the mighty sea shanty behind us. I'm flattered that they wanted the mighty sea shanty front and center, so we said we'd dress ship, and they said they wouldn't charge us for another night. But we're really not paying much here. In any event, they've got a whole bunch of officials coming from the Philippines arriving on this pier by boat, and this whole dock is closed off. We can't leave. They have another boat at the other end providing transportation to us if we want to leave the area, but we can't go over that bridge. Snipers up in the rooftops. Tons of security. Bill Clinton never had it so good. Well, we think that Suharto's on this boat. They've got a gunboat behind it. I don't see him, but it's been a big deal.
They dress ship in there.
Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah. This is the arrival.
Yes, you did.
Doesn't look too crowded, though. The afterdeck looks a bit empty.
Well, you only have
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. You don't need a whole lot, I guess.
Well, I hope they got that height right on the stairs.
Yeah, I'll bet they did.
Got the what?
The
The height, the stair height. I know they got the red carpet length right.
We practiced last night. Here's the TV cameras.
I like it.
The military TV, I guess.
Well, let's see what we've got going on here.
They
No,
have
they
fenders
have
on
the
the dock.
fenders are on the
They're
dock.
Big rubber
Oh,
gloves.
yeah.
Big red ball fenders.
Now, is this an
Oh, here
Indonesian boat?
comes some dignitaries walking out.
Yeah, here they go.
It'd be a pisser if he went aground. Couldn't get into the dock.
Oh, God.
Take that yellow dinghy out to get him. Look, they have the same
They have the same sign in front as they have here.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie, you wanted to know the great man's first name? Fidel.
Oh, Fidel, huh? This looks like a Fidel type boat coming in here. Okay. Hey, there goes a fender.
The one with the slit inside, the white. Yeah, I have one that's yellow. It's really pretty.
Looks like the Cuban wedding church.
Yeah. Originally it's built.
Oh, it's so cute with my eyeglasses. My glasses are steaming up.
Wow, it's so exciting. It's a little sinister, these gunboats.
We'll put some up on the bridge. Look on the bridge.
Yeah. Green shirt, blue hat. That's him.
She walks a respectful 2 paces behind. Bonnie, watch that.
I always walk behind you. Guard your pocket.
Golfing buddy in the white hat.
That's your pickpocket.
Lee Kuan Yew is in the white hat. He's the senior minister of He hasn't looked over your dress ship yet,
Why don't you call him? Hey, Fred, you see the flags?
Listen, they'll see them from the lunch table.
No, they're not eating here.
Oh, they're not? Who said?
They're eating next door.
How do you know?
Well, that's what we were told last night.
There's a golf club. There's the caddy walking with a blue shirt.
At the other resort, there's no sign that that's decorated, and this one has.
So now it's off to the golf lanes.
Now, see that back with the green stripe? That's the golf balls.
Oh,
Mr. Hot Fritz?
Is there anything you'd like me to say? Say hello, Jim. Hello, Jim.
You've probably said enough.
Oh, take my glasses off.
This is
You'd
the.
like me to take my glasses off?
That's
Which
good.
pair
I'll
of
zoom.
glasses?
We're going to try to zoom. There's Mr. Van Zandt. You've all heard of him. He made sails years ago. Not too many years ago.
No. If you have, you're much too old.
All right,
Now
here
I've
we
got it
are.
back on.
We're all slaving away here. This is the way yachting circles work. Oh, this is tough.
Has anybody set the alarm? When they take
There isn't there are no guests here. There are only intruders and leeches.
12:16.
their time?
So,
Ah, you think it's on?
Here's the Prez's boat.
Maybe by the time we get back, Jim, they'll be publishing the CCA news and video.
I bet they will. You know, they're just marching forward. Now we've got the waterfall, and this side of the pond. And we're going to replay these going up the Red Sea. Singapore, I should say. And a fairly crowded harbor, and we have been too busy to take pictures. And this is why. Lots going on. So we're not in the harbor, the dense area. This is just kind of a comfortable area. Radar is almost impossible because there's so much activity on it. Lots going on. Back to the wheel. Now we're in the Malacca Straits. These are fishermen that are trawling, and they're all friendly, but as they say in New Zealand and Australia, there is a heap of them. And this is one reason why we're making this passage, which is on our way to Penang in daylight. Looks like a blizzard out here at night. These guys do one shift, it seems, 24 hours a day. Actually, they don't. They seem to come in at night and another group goes out. But I have decided one thing I don't want to come back as in the next life is a fish in the Malacca Straits, because these guys sure do compete hard for them. Very friendly group. Seem to work pretty darn hard. Life here looks pretty good though in Malaysia. They all get plenty to eat. They all seem to have plenty to do. You don't see any poverty, nobody begging. That's about, well, this is Penang, and we've spent almost 3 hours taking a tram up here, and we're looking at a marina that we're in, which is quite a treat. We came up this river. Well, this is really between the island of Penang, and that's also the city, and the mainland in Malaysia, under that bridge. The bridge in the center is about 90 feet. Doesn't look that high from here. And it's clearer than generally. Doesn't look too clear, but it's quite hazy and humid in this part of Malaysia most of the time. Penang is an intriguing city, really interesting. It's been very enjoyable, and I think we'll spend another 3 days or so. Big Chinese influence here, as you can hear in the background. Quite a tourist area and a bustling city. We're on the island of Penang, in the city of Penang in Malaysia, and I mentioned earlier, but we may, because it was so noisy, get rid of it. We waited in line to come up a tramway, which took about 3 hours to get up here. Lovely hotel up here, quite old, and we're looking down on the harbor. And if I zoom in on it, we might see the, if I can hold it steady enough, there's a marina, and that's where the mighty sea shanty is. That's the mainland in the background. Fascinating city. Very oriental. This is, Penang is known as Singapore. It's the oldest city in Malaysia, apparently, and it's the way Singapore was 50 years ago. Fascinating. We've only been here 2 days. We'll spend another 2 days, I'm sure. Quite interesting. I doubt that we do this trip up the tram again. Jammed. It's during the holiday season for the children, so they just pack the tram cars. So crowded I couldn't get a picture. Well, that's about it for now. We're now south of Langkawi in a little island, a group of islands, probably 20 of them really. Gorgeous islands. This is the nicest cruising we've been in, and well, I'd say since Indonesia, quite different topography. In Malaysia, and this is a freshwater lake, which is just inside. We had to do a little bit of a cliff climb to get here, but just inside the anchorage that we are at. Sue's about to go for a swim. You can see we need to do a little bit of rock climbing here.